Guys, I have a tricky question to ask you. Do you think it would be possible for Goten to get all of Goku's transformations? Even the Ultra Instinct technique? Well, Goten was introduced in Dragon Ball as someone extremely talented, a true prodigy, just like his best friend Trunks. He could already transform into a Super Saiyan when he was just 7 years old. In this case, now that he is older, he could still reach new heights easily, since both Goten and Trunks have a lot of S cells. And the more a Saiyan warrior has these cells, plus the possibility of it being able to evolve in terms of transformations. This is basically why Goten was able to transform into a Super Saiyan so easily. This feat was due to his enormous amount of S cells carried by Goku's cells, as is the same case with Trunks. Well, it's not impossible for Goten to obtain the transformations that Goku has, but it's difficult to know if he could obtain Super Saiyan 3. For him to evolve, all he needs to do is for the Saiyan to train hard and commit to it. But as we know, Goten and Trunks are very lazy in this regard currently, so it would be a complicated thing to happen. But it wouldn't be impossible. Like Goten is bigger now, he may end up having in mind that in the future he will have to protect the Earth just like his father did. And for him to be able to do that, he would obviously have to work hard and get stronger and stronger, right? It wouldn't be complicated for Goten to obtain Super Saiyan 2, since Super Saiyan 2 can be obtained with a lot of training. And this specific training is to make Super Saiyan 2 better, just like Gohan and Goku did, in the time room in the Cell Saga. Super Saiyan full power is the key for the warrior to get used to and be able to use Super Saiyan with maximum efficiency and power. And when the warrior has this, he is close to being able to advance to the next stage, which is level 2. If Goten has a training partner like him, then the possibilities for him to obtain Super Saiyan 2 become quite high, since among all the Saiyans in Goku's family, he is the Saiyan who has the most S cells, and as such, he is able to evolve more quickly. Super Saiyan 3 would already be something a little complicated for him to use, since Goku only achieved this transformation due to the fact that he was dead, and Gotenks, who was a fusion, was suitable to obtain this transformation. Since to use Super Saiyan 3 efficiently, the warrior must have a large amount of energy so that he can deal with the enormous wear and tear that this form causes. In the case of Super Saiyan 3, it is difficult to know whether Goten could do it, but in any case, this possibility is not at all impossible. Now, moving on to the divine transformations, these transformations are much easier to obtain. If Goten has the training of Whis and Beerus, it is practically certain that he will be able to use the divine ki with mastery, but for that, he would have to master normal ki completely, just like Goku and Vegeta do. At this point, all that is needed is for Goten to work on his handling of ki and strengthen his mastery of this energy, and when he does this, he will be ready to ascend to divine states. Well, from what we saw in the work, the way to obtain Super Saiyan God is through a ritual with a group of pure-hearted Saiyans. And well, doing this ritual is not difficult, especially because there are plenty of good Saiyans. Heart. Goten could obtain this transformation easily, and not only that, he could also use the Beyond God form. This form has the function of making the Saiyan use all the power of the Super Saiyan God in his base state. Thus, you will now be able to have better efficiency in the use of divine ki. Well, now going to the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, this transformation is totally possible for Goten to obtain, especially because it is necessary for you to have mastery over divine ki. And when you have this, you are able to gather your divine ki with Saiyan transformations, causing their strength to increase more and more with the multipliers aided by the transformations. Well, another way that is not really a transformation but a technique is Kaioken. With all certainty, Goten would be able to achieve this technique, as it can be used by any human being or being of a different race, as long as the individual has enough strength to withstand the Kaioken's damage and how far it can handle the multipliers. In Goten's case, instead of using Kaioken with divine transformations, he could do this with his Saiyan transformations, since we never saw this canonically in the work, unless we consider the arc of the other world, in which Goku's fight against Paikuhan took place, and he ends up using the Super Kaioken against him. But well, as this arc is not canonical, this initiative to use Kaioken together with the Saiyan transformations would be a magnificent idea, especially if it was started by someone like Goten. Well, what about Ultra Instinct? Could Goten, a great prodigy, end up obtaining this powerful technique? Well, it's a bit complicated to answer that, because when we see the way in which Goku obtained Ultra Instinct in the manga, it was something totally different from the way shown in the anime. In the manga, Goku remembered all the masters he had, and with this he remembered from all the teachings he had. Not only that, but at that moment he obtained a revelation from Master Roshi himself. That power wasn't everything. So, as we know, Goten didn't have several masters like Goku and didn't have his teachings either. In that case, I don't see how Goten would be able to obtain this technique. But what about you? What do you think? Do you think Goten would achieve Ultra Instinct on his own? Comment below, please. Your views on this would be wonderful to see, especially the theories you could come up with regarding this. Goten is an extremely talented character and a true prodigy, just like Gohan, so comment a lot about what you think. Guys, as we know, Bulla, the daughter of Vegeta, and Bulma ended up growing a little in this skip team that occurred in Dragon Ball Super. In this case, could she be a Saiyan as prodigy as Goten, Trunks, Pan, and Gohan? Guys, it may not seem like it, but Bulla is the person who has the most S cells of all the Saiyans, mainly due to the fact that she was born when Vegeta already had her divine powers and was stronger than in her state in the Buu saga, where Trunks was born. If we use this logic, Bulla could be a true monster when it comes to Saiyans, and if she trains with Vegeta, I have no doubt that she would easily achieve the standard Super Saiyan transformations. As the Saiyan has a lot of S cells, it would be extremely easy for her to obtain the standard Super Saiyan, since even Trunks and Goten without any type of adequate training managed to have this transformation. So for Bulla, who is the most talented Saiyan currently, this transformation would be even easier, of course, if she is someone willing to obtain such strength. When we go to the next transformations, things get even easier for Bulla. Super Saiyan 2 just needs a large amount of training and an improvement from the standard Super Saiyan. However, this wouldn't be so complicated for Bulla, which has S cells charged with Vegeta's own divine Ki. Now, talking about Super Saiyan 3, this form requires the warrior to have a huge amount of energy so that he can even deal with wear and tear. And for Bulla, this wouldn't be so complicated, mainly due to her enormous amount of energy that she would have. And if she trained properly with Vegeta, the possibility of her evolving even further and being able to control her ki more adequately could be even greater, meaning that she could easily obtain Super Saiyan 3, something that not even Vegeta could achieve. Guys, Bulla would also start with an advantage, as she would have Vegeta to help her develop and use her divine ki properly, as he is already someone accustomed to this area and certainly knows the methods to use this type of ki. And for your daughter, who is a true prodigy, it would not be difficult at all for her to obtain this type of power. As Bulla is a Saiyan who carries a lot of S cells, her standard transformations would already be quite powerful, to the point of even having the possibility of surpassing Vegeta. But of course, this is uncertain, since Vegeta would have more experience in battle and techniques, so it's unclear whether Bulla would have a chance. However, it is true that Bulla could evolve quickly in battles, and thus obtain more experience. But of course, this would only happen if she was willing to train with Vegeta. She could obtain the Super Saiyan God transformation easily through the transformation ritual they use to achieve Super Saiyan God, a transformation that even Vegeta has, so it wouldn't be something from another world that Bulla couldn't have too. Both Super Saiyan God and Blue would be transformations that would not require much work for Bulla to achieve. However, they would only be possible if she had perfect control over divine ki. And as she would be a child, her body would probably not. It would be fit enough to support such a load. But this might not be a problem either, as its power would be so great that it would practically be circumvented by it. Well, what about you? What do you think about the Bulla? Do you agree that she is the most talented of the Saiyans? Do you think she will have the potential to surpass all warriors in the future? Well, comment below. Her opinions are extremely welcome. Well, to see more about Bulla, we just have to see what the Dragon Ball Super manga will show us about the character. Guys, the video will end here. Did you like the themes? Comment. I would love to know the opinion of other Dragon Ball fans about what could happen in the work. Remember, I left your like and subscription. This helps the channel a lot. Oh, and also it would be wonderful if you shared this video with your friends, you know? Those friends who are passionate about Dragon Ball. Anyway, I count on your support and see you later.